I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good afternoon to you and yours. It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff filling in for Joyce Woodman, who you just heard. Hanging out for, I think, David Collier today. So somehow Clint Scott and Josh Falpel got the short straw. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why it happened, but I apologize to both of you that it in fact did happen. A ton to get to today, including Texas Tech still playing in the College World Series and sitting in the proverbial catbird seat after winning last night 1-0. They won't play again until tomorrow, a game you'll hear at 5:30 over on Double T 97.3. Astros baseball, they lost by a touchdown and a field goal after giving up a touchdown and 2 field goals. 13-3.
Makes sense.
It does. It was not a pretty game for Astros pitching, but they're back in action tonight, 6:40 right here on 100.7 The Score. And Rangers start a series with the Cardinals tonight. It's Tech Night, by the way. Josh Young jerseys for the Red Raider fans that bought those tickets. So lots of good things going on today. Josh, how are you today?
Oh,
You've been busy the last couple of days. Behind the scenes stuff, you've been very busy the last few days.
yeah. It's been so we name drop started a new podcast going over Texas Tech football and Red Raider Recon. It is called. You can find that on the website, OTT, YouTube, all the places. And so getting that.
Okay,
the first episode is always the longest to produce because you're building the framework that you're building the template basically.
Sure.
So
tell me Choice Woodman isn't running around in camo in this.
he is not.
Okay.
Which is clever and did not cross my mind even a little bit, actually.
I wasn't being clever. I was just worried.
No, but I mean, given what it's called, and yeah, I get it. I understand.
Choice Woodman and camo. I also didn't. I have another Choice Woodman question later involving a bubble bath that
What?
I'm desperately wanting to find out the answer to, and if it was discussed earlier, but we'll have to wait and find that out.
It is weird that you have that as a sounder.
Technically for the soggy dog, but
Okay.
you know.
Okay,
It works
that
both
makes
ways.
sense. That's
We will have
much more contextually
We will have a
appropriate.
couple of secret words coming. Oh, when does that podcast come out?
Oh,
Officially?
it is out. It is
now.
out now.
Okay.
This is episode 2, in fact, which
Oh.
I say, everything I just said surrounds the initial episode, which was very thrown together last week. This was actually where I was building the framework and stuff,
Well,
production-wise, not you guys.
it was. I was about to say that it's like you building the template on the first one until the guys you're working with are like, "What if we do it completely different?"
Yeah, that's fair.
and add things the second week.
Yeah, that's more so.
Rob and I are going
happened.
to keep you on your toes. We just lied to you and said, "Hey, once we get this set, then it's just making the content plug and play." When really we're going to switch it up every single
Every
week
time.
to annoy you.
I
It
wouldn't
wouldn't.
doubt that.
It-
actually, that's what's.
Hey,
gonna
did somebody order a circus tent?
It's you say to annoy me, but it creates the kind of work that I do enjoy doing, so that would be genuinely fine.
You say that now.
Yeah, after week 7, it would not be great. Seems like a
No,
long time
no,
to
no,
get
no.
into it.
Don't do that after week 7. And by week 7, we're getting pretty close to week 1
Yeah,
of Texas Tech football. So less than 100 days. I think we're at 94 now is the official start for the season. That's doing that off the top of my head and remembering how many days it's been since I heard 100. And there's no chance I got that right. So I don't need anybody to cross-check me. But
I think the last time you and I were on, or maybe it was Choice and I, but I remember it was like 101 or 99, something like that. It was pretty close to a flat 100. It was not a flat 100, though. I realize that I'm the one in front of the camera and with the microphone and junk like that. But Clint, would you like to give an episode 2 sentences for Red Raider Recon?
Sure. This week we talked about Mac Leftwich and what we expect out of the offense and what we think he specifically will bring to the players that you have on the roster, and also what he'll do with some of the new faces.
Sick. So YouTube, it is on the website, and also audio only wherever else you get your podcasts if you would like, but the video is everywhere else.
Well, there you go. We do have College World Series for the men's side in action as they're starting their tournament today, about a week behind the ladies at this point. No, a couple weeks, because this is regional action, so they're a couple weeks behind. Because that makes sense, because they just announced the regionals earlier today. I don't know the score here. Trying to effort. It looks like 4-0 Eastern Carolina over Florida. So we will be probably keeping you updated as this contest continues, since it's sitting here in front of me. We will be doing a preview later of the Red Raider softball team as they're taking on UCLA tomorrow in a winners game over on Double Team 97.3, and they're continuing their play. Let's see what else is going on. Lots of little things going on for this weekend. We will, at some point, I'm sure, mourn the loss of the Stars, since their season has officially come to a close.
Somewhere in there.
I will say I finally get to mark on my calendar now when they get started back up, and for like the 4th straight year, attempt to watch more Stars games.
Yeah, I think that's fair, given even just the past couple seasons.
I need to start earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I always get excited for the playoffs, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't start watching now. I don't want to jinx them. I need to be actually involved in watching them from the beginning of the season for all the Stars fans out there that I actually know that are, die hard and live and die with every loss. I support them in their endeavor, and I support their team.
Yeah.
But I can't just jump onto the playoffs. It feels like going to church just at Christmas and Easter.
Just alienated half of our listener base.
But y'all know what I'm talking about
Yes.
when I say it. I got to put some time in. I got to put some money in the offering plate. I've got to do some things. I got to sing some hymns. I got to go. And I can't just go at Christmas and Easter, but we'll see how that rolls as well.
Mother's Day too.
Oh, no. It was always just 2-timers.
Really? Okay.
When I was going to church a lot,
Yeah.
we knew the 2 times people were showing up. It was
Okay.
Easter and Christmas.
Yeah.
There'd be some random day, like there'd be a busy day in September, like that first or second Sunday as school gets started. Oh, we're gonna be back on the routine. And
That was just context for me. I used to be a student minister, and so like those are the 3 most attended days.
As a PK, you have to throw in Mother's Day in there as well.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of, all right, yeah, we'll go with you, Mom.
Yeah, exactly.
What if Mom didn't go though?
Yeah, then no one's going.
That's the catch.
Well, then those numbers aren't going to be added because they weren't there anyways.
This off the Ace Learning Center chat line. But Jeff, the Stars lost. So what if you not watching was jinxing them? I didn't watch up through the entire. I didn't watch a single second of it.
And they made it.
Yeah. So I have to go with what was working before. Of me not watching was leading them to victory. And if I turned it on, I didn't want to be responsible for the loss. So that's where the logic went. They were doing much better without me, including having the second best record in the West before the playoffs started, than me joining them and ruining the fun for all of the Stars fans out there.
You can, I think on a regular basis, I might address this afterwards, but look at a team and determine whether they're genuinely going to be better, have a chance at getting better, or if they're pretty much going to be worse. Do you have that feel for the Stars? You that plugged in? You can probably tell.
No, I don't. But it's not like I'm going to be rooting for another hockey team.
Yeah.
And I like hockey. I just need to get more involved.
Let's go Mammoths. Tusks up. This one's going to stick. I know it.
I don't think it.
As a former Predators Knights Kraken fan.
Yeah.
As a former Predator.
I should have watched. And if I'd watched earlier, I wouldn't have felt guilty. It's the bottom line of 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff sitting in for Choice, sitting alongside Josh Falple, who's in for Chris Sneed, and the one and only, that's right, Clint Scott, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us as he does on the program. Let's get this thought off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Dear Jeff, how are you? I'm fine. I'm great, Gordo. Thank you for asking.
Heck yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of my skis, but what would a natty celebration look like in Lubbock during the summer with very few students? Thank you for the softball talk you give us. Gordo P.S. Please tell Clint Scott that Gordo says hello, and that I am a big fan of the Red Raider Recon podcast. Please check it out wherever you find your podcasts.
Nice.
Hello, and thank you. Glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. What would a celebration look like if, in fact, there were a possible reason to celebrate? I'm wanting to make sure I am not getting ahead of the skis here, because I feel like this is a good question. It would be different than what we would have seen for basketball. It would have been different than what we saw for the Lady Raiders when they won it in 93. Because, again, students aren't here. I do think it might be a postponed celebration.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like you do it first week of the year for the fall.
Well, I think if the question's around like the organic,
like immediate,
like protect the Lime scooters,
yeah,
kind of,
sure.
Is a car going to flip? I don't think that's going to happen, but I think you would only get that from men's basketball or football.
Oh, yeah.
I think those are the only two you would get into that. Like, cops probably need to be around there just to make sure we're being safe on some stuff. I mean, let them run a little bit, but, as long as they're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, and leave the Lime scooters alone. They didn't do anything wrong. All they do is cart you around. They just do the things you ask them to do. Don't blame them or hurt them because Tech wins or loses. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. They're easy targets.
They are easy targets, but that doesn't mean they should be targeted, okay? That's all I'm saying. But yeah.
I don't know the guy who owns the Lime business, so.
I don't know them either, but that doesn't mean that they need to replace all their stuff because Texas Tech won or lost a game. Viva73 writes in, after Woodman put out the odds on Tech at the World Series, I called my son-in-law who's in Las Vegas and this week told him to put $500 down for me on the Lady Raiders to win it all.
Allegedly.
Nice.
Well, his son's there, so we don't know where his son is.
But he's calling his son.
He has called his son. His son is the one who made the actual bet. McCaslin, we already got McCaslin throwing out the first pitch. Okay, I'm sure, I know Clint has talked about this already. There's no doubt in my mind because he had a show yesterday. I don't think you have even heard this news yet, and if you have, I would love to hear what the rest of your thought is.
What?
Because Texas Tech football has announced kickoff times for the first 3 games of the Red Raider football season for 2025. Are you excited?
Yes.
For kickoff times?
Yeah. I get to know whether I'm
for the non-conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get to know whether or not I get to be excited about about the times or not.
Okay. Well, we will start off with Arkansas Pine Bluff, your very first game. What time do you think that game will kick off?
11
a.m.
Yeah.
You are incorrect, sir.
Okay.
I will let you know that game is on ESPN Plus. Does that change your mind?
Well, if I'm incorrect, I mean, I know that it's not 11 o'clock, but
Correct.
I wouldn't be able to. No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't take another guess. Usually, if it's an ESPN Plus game, Texas Tech gets to pick the time.
Oh, okay. So
6:30.
it'd be, okay.
It is a night game for Arkansas Pine Bluff with Optimum Game Day Live starting at 7 o'clock, and we'll carry you all the way through the Double T 97.3 Coors Light postgame show on Double T 97.3, Double T 97.3.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app. No, that's not ingrained in my brain. I don't know why you would think it is. Then, for your second week, Texas Tech taking on Kent State. This game being broadcast on TNT and Max.
Okay. This is
so many ways you could go with this. Take it.
I mean, it's got to be at 11 o'clock at some point.
Give that man a correct buzzer. There you go, sir. That is an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Okay.
So, short Optimum Game Day Live that day from the corner of the Fraser Alumni Pavilion. We then shift to your final non-conference game of the year, your last home game of 3 in a row as we get ready to start the season. Fox will air this game on September 13th versus Oregon State.
This is, this is probably a noon, right?
It is not a noon kick.
Okay.
I was surprised it wasn't picked as the big noon kick, but it is actually my favorite kickoff time.
11 a.m.?
2:30.
Okay.
I do not like the 11 a.m. kicks
Really?
at home. And this is completely for the effort that we put into Optimum
Oh,
Game
yeah,
Day
that's
Live.
fair.
The 2:30/3:30 kick, the middle afternoon kick is my favorite kick because it justifies us doing Optimum Game Day Live all morning. We get enough out of all of the work that goes into it. And I'm home before midnight.
Yeah.
The 6 o'clock kick, I do not get to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not even close.
In the spirit of fandom, I have a favorite time, and
sure.
then as an as an aging football fan, I also have a favorite time. So yeah, then those are very different. Those are like on very different sides.
Oh, sure,
of
yeah.
the
And
spectrum.
if I was just a straight up fan tailgating, you want all these to kick off at 6 or 7 even. Totally understand why everybody is where they are, which is why I like the 2:30 kick. You get some time to tailgate.
Yeah.
You get the breakfast tailgate going, which, let me just tell you, of all the tailgates, breakfast tailgate should not be missed. Breakfast tailgate is awesome. Because as I've said many times, on every program I've ever been on, you can't drink all day if you don't start early.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
And who doesn't want bacon and eggs and tacos and all of that in the morning? Or like, you're going to tell me you're going to turn down an omelet bar in the morning? No. I also want to see an omelet bar and a tailgate. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I might turn down an omelet bar. I like eggs, but I would be like, can we just do breakfast tacos?
No, I'm about omelet bar all the time.
You're the one who
Or a
taught
waffle
me.
bar?
Because of Josh, I now know that vegetarians can have eggs, which I learned like 2 years ago.
Oh, I do
and
remember that.
I was in shock and awe. I don't know why.
It wasn't me. I wasn't the one who taught you. I think you came into my office and,
That's
told
right.
me that you
I
learned
saw it,
that.
but I needed you to confirm it because I was like, this idiot vegetarian I saw sharing a recipe and he had an egg in it.
Right.
Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. No.
What?
How is that not vegetarian?
It's not vegan.
Vegetarian means you just eat vegetables.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it's not just vegetables because. Do you drink
Vegetables
you
is
drink
a
milk,
made-up
right?
word. Let's be clear.
Vegetables?
Yes, it is a made-up word. Vegetables includes stalks, roots, grains. It is absolutely made-up marketing word.
It. I'm so confused.
I'm
right
saying
now.
vegetables are colloquially real. I am not. This
They're
isn't
not
a
like
bird.
birds.
This isn't
Okay.
a birds isn't real thing. But it is such a catch-all
It was
word.
getting into X-Files.
No,
territory.
it's a very catch-all word. Is my point.
Well, sure, but there's a difference between like fruits and vegetables. There's a distinct
Yes.
difference.
I have a tinfoil. Well, I don't have it. There's still a tinfoil hat in there if you need it. I'm gonna go over that again.
Okay.
Big Vegetables wants you to believe this, and you shouldn't.
I'm so confused.
But
But eggs are okay. Huh? I didn't know that.
it also
I
depends.
didn't-
That was my reaction.
I mean, I'm not like
Except-
looking into being a vegetarian. So
Neither
that's
was
something I would
I,
understand.
but for some reason it affected me for like 24 hours that I didn't know this.
It is just to clarify a little bit. Eggs are not vegan. That is kind of where the line
they're
is.
the real
not vegan.
strict
Yeah.
rules, and usually those are the ones that really tell you about it.
And listen, I'm not. Whether you're vegetarian or vegan or whatever your diet may or not may entail, I have had friends in the past who were vegetarian that still ate bacon. Like that was the only meat they.
I don't
ate.
feel like that's
they were
vegetarian.
actually
That's not
Vegetarian. It was
vegetarian.
only on special occasions.
No, I don't-
No. Let me. He wouldn't eat a steak. He wouldn't eat chicken. He wouldn't eat fish. He wouldn't. It was like.
That's not
once a
vegetarian.
month.
That's just called being picky.
No, he
There are
loved all those
5-year-olds
things.
that are vegetarians then.
There's probably some truth in that. But bacon was the one thing. And
Okay.
I said, why bacon? He's like, have you had bacon? It's awesome. And I went, yeah, I don't have an argument for that.
It's not a vegetarian.
I'm just, I am not telling people what they can or cannot eat. Because I don't want anybody telling me what I can or cannot eat,
Yeah, all right.
especially on pizza night.
I'm not telling him what he can or can't eat. I'm just telling him he's breaking the rules of something.
It is. I don't know if there are no rules. Bottom line of 100.7 the score. It was.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff filling in for Choice, now sitting alongside the one and only Jamie Lint, and Clint Scott across the way, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us as he does on the program, keeping you up to date with what's going on in the College World Series today. Cincinnati is up 8-2 over Wake Forest in the bottom of the second. Ouch.
Just the NCAA tournament. We're not to the College World Series.
Well,
yet.
it's the regional round. I mean, it's all the road to Omaha at this point for.
Yeah, but it's not in the College World
It's not.
Series.
Yeah, it's not in the College World Series.
That's its own round.
Oh, fair enough. I stand corrected, gentlemen. I apologize. Women's College
You're
World.
actually sitting down, but
Yeah.
you're sitting corrected.
Sit corrected. This is what we do to Choice.
Okay,
Just in case you were.
that's fair. As long as it all comes around in the end, I
And we
guess
haven't
it's
got
okay.
to do it for like 2 days, so we just have all of this
All built up.
almost anxiety built up that we haven't got it out.
Women's College World Series. Red Raider softball 1-0 win over Ole Miss last night in a really fun game to watch and listen to. That you got to hear Jeff Haxman on the call over on Double T 97.3. What was painfully obvious to all of us for quite some time is that Nigeria Kennedy is extremely good.
Why is that painful?
Well, not painful in the way of it's painfully obvious. Like you would have to be having pain to not see it.
It's for the other teams. It's pain for them.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
She definitely knows how to bring that to the other opponent. But a phenomenal pitching performance from her last night. Striking out the side to begin the game, striking out the side to end the game, only allowing 2 hits. Had a perfecto going on for quite a while, and then a no-hitter as well. You have to tip your cap to what she has done for this Red Raider softball team and what she continues to do, and winning the awards that she continues to absolutely have earned this year.
Yeah, definitely deserved. No doubt about it. I mean, she's been so good that all the hype that was brought upon her, she's living up to that hype. It's not always easy to do.
No, it's absolutely not, and you could almost look at every other sport on campus at times and had that statement about them where it didn't live up to what the hype was, whether it be a basketball season or a football season or a baseball season. Not talking about any individual specific season, but you all have one in mind for those 3 sports that I just talked about, that you get some preseason expectations, you see some things in the off season that you really like and you want to get behind, and then it kind of just goes flat for whatever reason. Injury, just bad luck, things not working the way out you thought they would work out, players not developing like that you thought they might have developed. But that has not been the case with this softball team. And you've said it a couple of times on the morning drive, Jamie, and it's hard not to agree with you that after watching yesterday's action, watching what the Red Raiders did last night, I'll be honest, didn't watch a lot of UCLA or Oregon, but it's hard not to say that this Red Raider team has as good a chance as anybody to win the whole thing right now.
Yeah, it really feels that way to me. I mean, you've got as we know, softball can be absolutely dominated by one particular player when you have a really, really good pitcher. Mm-hmm. And I think you have the best pitcher in the country. Your offense may not be the best in the country, but it's still solid, okay? Mm-hmm. And when she's doing what she's doing in the circle, then you have a chance to win each and every game. And I think you've got a team that's playing really good defense behind her, playing with a ton of confidence behind her. And I think that, as an offense, you just feel like, hey, if we get a couple here, we're good with her on the mound. So I just think it's a team that really is feeling good about themselves right now, and I think they have a lot or a big reason to be that way.
And I do want to kind of tip my hat to Ole Miss here. They were a very solid opponent that came in unranked for what everybody else was going. That was a good win for this Red Raider softball team.
Did not look like an unranked team last night.
No, they looked like a world beater last night when you consider that.
Unless Texas Tech is the world.
Sure. Yeah, they weren't a Texas Tech beater.
Texas.
They were.
That's right.
But it was, you got a starting pitcher that goes 7 innings and doesn't give up an earned run.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to win a lot of softball or baseball or whatever sport you want to go with if your defense can pitch a shutout.
Yeah.
And she basically did, except for an error. And the error is what ended up costing them in a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
And they had their chances. They probably had the second best defensive play of the night with the 1-2-3 double play to end the threat for the Red Raiders in that inning. But it doesn't matter now. I kind of wish them luck in the loser side so that you can face another unranked team, but I also know that was a really good team you faced.
Well, I'm kind of taking the rankings out at this point because as much as I like to dive in with Choice's SEC bias, I think it's real when it comes to baseball and softball, and they were just fine in SEC play. And like you look at like Arkansas, who
I thought they had a losing record in SEC play.
Yeah, but they were still competing in the SEC. And you look at Arkansas, who was a top 5 seed. It's not like they just went in there and beat them once. They beat them. They won the series in the regular season too, so you know like that version that can play really good softball exists. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't rather see, any of the three. I think it's a lot more even with those three than we're just saying, oh well, they're unranked, so obviously we should be wanting to play them.
I would rather see not see Ole Miss just because they haven't seen Kennedy as recently. Right, they may have faced her before last year, whatever, but some of their players, but they didn't just see her.
Yeah.
So to me, that would give an advantage to, the offenses, and so I would think that you'd be better off facing the other team, one of the other teams.
And we'll find that out if and when Texas Tech, what Texas Tech does after.
So perfect world, you beat UCLA tomorrow. And then you see Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see what. Yeah, totally agree.
Yep.
And you will hear all of those games for the Red Raider softball run over on Double T at 97.3 as we continue our coverage with the Texas Tech Sports Network there. Did you see the Astros score last night?
They got thumped.
They got thumped hard, and that is not something I thought I would see. A 13-3. They gave it. No, 16-3, excuse me. They give a touchdown and 2 field goals.
I think you were right the first time.
Oh, yeah, 13. Yeah, that's 13 points. That is not a score I thought I would see this year with the way how Major League – and don't get me wrong, there's big deficits that every team has gone after, and giving up 10 runs in a Major League Baseball game isn't completely unheard of, but that was a little surprising when I saw that score this morning.
Yeah, just the offense for the Astros hasn't been explosive this year either. And so you see them, get thumped like they are, and so you're talking about a team that's not scoring a lot of runs, and they give up the 13, and you're like, well, if they're doing that, this offense has no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pepsi Man says that we need to start a watch party for the softball games.
Okay.
I mean, didn't we all kind of do that last night?
In our different little area of West Texas?
I guess I am surprised if they don't have, as organized as like some of the pregame stuff was for the regional, that they wouldn't have a watch party for something.
Yeah. Maybe they will for the championship round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't put it past them. That's what I'll tell you. It is the bottom line of 100.7 The Score. We will take a step back from the Red Raiders side of this and look at the rest of the Women's College World Series bracket coming up. Take your questions off the Yates Flooring Center chat line, off the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line, 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Thoughts off the Yates Flooring Center challenge, which you can get in on the 100.7 The Score mobile app which you can get free from wherever your apps are downloaded from. Astros are missing about half of their rotation and Yordan Alvarez.
That would be a big factor.
They've also let a lot of offensive talent go the last few years.
Yes.
And it may, in fact, be starting to catch up with them. But shouldn't be talking about bad offenses when we also have the Texas Rangers. Keep in mind that the Women's College World Series has a cross-bracket play where the losers of tomorrow's games will cross over to the other bracket. If we lose tomorrow, then we will play the winner of Florida-Tennessee, then have to beat the winner of Oklahoma and Texas twice to make it to the championship series. I did not realize it was a cross-bracket. I will be honest.
What?
Yep, as I'm sitting here looking at it here. It is a lose and you flip bracket.
I like it. I like it.
Put you out as a +1 on this idea.
I'm a huge fan. Yes, because then you're not playing the same team all the time. I'm a big fan of this.
Okay. Tech will play UCLA tomorrow at 5:30 with the loser of that game shifting over to the Texas-Oklahoma.
Yeah, I just think that makes it more entertaining. Not having to play the same team, 2 times. You get to play on teams on both sides of the bracket.
Although there's still a chance you could still see
Possibly, correct.
same school.
Yeah. I like it.
Eliminate
Or I guess
but it
in
changes.
this case, we still could get our order. That's what I'm pulling for. I think in
sure.
theory I like the cross bracket. This year I don't like the cross bracket.
So, yeah, it's a good tip. I had not realized that it was a cross
That's true,
bracket,
since
so-
the other bracket's better.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think everyone just stay on their side.
Yeah,
of the
you
bracket.
stay
guys
over
just-
there and we'll stay over here.
And we'll meet in the middle, because that's how brackets work, right? Jamie, you've done a little bit of research on this. How do you think first day went yesterday, and is it as you expected it to go?
You're talking about the Women's College World Series?
Yes.
Texas looks dominant. You saw an ace on the mound, which is really interesting because she had struggled in SEC play. She was good at the beginning of the year and then struggled in the middle. But and I can't remember the girl's name for Texas, but she was terrific. Watching the Oklahoma and Tennessee game, I'll be honest with you, I think Tennessee's the better team. They have a dominant pitcher. I feel like she's maybe the second best pitcher in the College World Series. She just had one bad inning, and it cost her the game in the 7th inning. So, I don't think Oklahoma's as dominant as we've seen Oklahoma. I don't think they have that number one like we've seen the Sooners have in years past. And so they look like a beatable team to me. I know they've got the pedigree and all that, but you even heard them talking in the broadcast yesterday. There's just 2 girls in that lineup that were regulars last year. So it's not like they brought back a ton of talent with them. But, of course, they're Oklahoma. They're going to bring girls in. But
Yeah.
I just don't think they're as dominant as they have been. But I thought Tennessee looked to be a good team, even though they lost. I think Texas looks really good. So, to me, right now, the biggest challenger, in my opinion, is the Longhorns.
I don't like hearing that. I don't like hearing that at all. But I don't know that after yesterday's performances, I can't argue with you.
Yeah.
I did feel a little bad for Florida yesterday. I kind of felt like they let one player beat them with the 2 home runs, and then it just kind of like it was 1-0,
Yeah.
and then 2-0, and then it kind of fell apart. And I know that's not how anything goes. That's how any sport can go, where you're there, and now the
Snatching.
1-0.
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
A little bit. Yeah. Now, again, they were still trailing 1-0, but it was for as well as both teams were pitching yesterday. It was definitely a 1 run feels like 5, and then 2 runs felt like 10.
It's also crazy that a 3-0 game in a World Series format was arguably the worst game.
Yeah. Because you had 2 walk-offs and then you had a 1-0 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's crazy.
No question.
This just in, all the teams of the College World Series are good.
And
or the
they
Women's College World Series are good.
And they can pitch.
And they can pitch. Who knew? Pitching gets you to the Women's College World Series. This is all new information for us. We look at this, and it's hard not to get just super excited while also knowing that you got to take a breath because it's not over. You got one win, but it's not the last win you need. And all of our happy feelings that we've got today are one bad outing away on Saturday from having all the happy feelings for where you're sitting being 1-0.
And all of a sudden you have pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, no question. That's the stakes are high. There's no doubt about it, and you can't let up. And I think if you're a Red Raider fan, you're probably saying, "Man, Nigeria is phenomenal, but we probably need to get a little more offense going, right? If I'm going to be comfortable with this,
that would help.
Got to get the offense going."
I would like to see a nice 3-run performance in one of these games. I don't really care if it's a 3-2 game. I would like to see a 3-spot go up on one of these games. Yeah. I would feel exponentially better if your offense were able to produce like that.
Do you think Tennessee was sitting there thinking, we're loving our nice
3-1 lead, we're good?
I'm sure they were.
We're good.
But from the Red Raider perspective, you've had enough offense to get you past your Super Regional and now your first game in the College World Series. With Nigeria pitching, you only need one run, but I would like to not have to have her work that hard. I would like her to be, oh, look, we've got this nice 5-run lead in the first inning. Cool. Now we can just sit back and really play defense.
Man, and you can't expect her to be perfect.
No.
And sooner or later, somebody's going to run into one and it's going to leave the yard, whatever. So or you're going to have a bad day defensively, whatever. It happens. So you need to get the bats going.
And as good as Nigeria was yesterday, there was a chance that game could have been broken into the other direction when you got the double play, when you got the catch in center field. If that had dropped, that changes that inning.
Yeah, completely. No doubt, because that was the leadoff hitter that inning.
And then they got 2 hits afterwards. Now, do you have the 2 hits if you get the ball to drop? That's no one will ever know because you change how you pitch it and everything else. But that is how quickly things could have changed. Now, you were also one double play ball away from breaking it open yourself offensively. So that is how tight a 1-0 game should be and is in the College World Series or any playoff format for that matter. Mm-hmm. So super excited for tomorrow night, 5:30 pregame over on Double T 97.3. Texas Tech taking on UCLA. It's a no-brainer that Texas-Oklahoma are going to draw some eyes as well at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
That'll be packed.
Yeah, and home crowd definitely will be pumped for that game in Oklahoma. And there's a rumor going around that those two schools do not like each other. Mm-hmm. I think it's a well-established rumor. So the fact that they're meeting in the College World second year in a row, right? Didn't they meet last year, if I remember correctly, in the College World Series? Maybe in the finals, right?
I think I remember them playing each other. I don't remember if it was in the finals or not.
But, yeah. So I wonder if they're going to stick around for the second game and cheer on UCLA.
Sure they are. They're all going to be, whoever, win or lose, they're going to be rooting against the Red Raiders because they fear Nigeria.
They should.
Yeah.
But there's also some history with Texas Tech and Oklahoma and Texas when it comes to school pride. Sure. I mean, granted, not on this level on the softball field. This is obviously the first time for Texas Tech, but we all know who we are. And we know who they are, and they know who we are, and they know where we're located, and we've been to hotels in each other's cities and know how things operate. And I imagine that those two schools are looking down at the Red Raiders a little bit, like, you don't belong here.
Yes, it was in the finals last year.
Okay.
To confirm.
I remember that correctly.
Good memory, Jeff.
No, good guess of a memory. Possibly, sort of.
You shouldn't have done that. You should just take it.
Again, right. I'm the card that has you can purchase our rules in the deck of cards that you immediately throw away. That's who I am, and it's fine. Coming up, we've got your question today brought to you by someone not named Jamie. It's on the way next here on The Bottom Line. 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Halfway through the Bottom Line of 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app, and WTSportsNetwork.com, where you can check out the show and all of our podcasts and everything else that goes on with the radio stations. Jeff McGuire filling in for Choice Woodman, sitting alongside Jamie Lent and Clint Scott across the way. It is time for Jamie's question of the day.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
Guys, I'm not going to lock you into this answer because it will obviously change how things go forward. And I don't think there's a wrong answer for this. So I'm really helping you out on today's question and for the audience as well. Where does last night's softball win over Ole Miss rank in the hierarchy of Texas Tech all-time wins? With a U.S. bank. Where does it rank for you? I don't expect it to beat Crabtree. I don't expect it to beat going to the national championship game on Monday night for the Red Raider basketball team, winning in the Final Four. But where does it rank for you on your all-time list?
That's a really there's a lot that goes into that. You first and foremost, I mean, I think some people like football the best, some people basketball means the most to them, some people it's golf, it's track, it's pickleball, whatever.
Sure.
Clint is pickleball.
Yeah, when Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash teamed up and beat some no-names.
You were there.
They really got me emotional.
Without just going game by game or whatever, it's probably somewhere in the top between 10 and 20 or something.
Okay.
Somewhere there in the teens. Just because, I mean, football and basketball and baseball means a lot more to me.
Yeah. No. There's not a wrong there's not a wrong answer for this. I'm just wondering where it falls.
This is a weird thought, but it's kind of the
standard of the program.
Well, no, like it's the road to the Final Four. It's not the road to the championship, like that sort of thought process. Because I would almost say the one that I'm going to remember, if we talk about depending on what they do the rest of the way.
Right.
Let's say if something happened and they lost the next two games and they went out, I'm going to remember the Florida State Super Regional. I'll remember that they won a game. I'll remember that they beat Ole Miss. But I might think more fondly of that moment of getting there.
Sure.
Of that moment going through Tallahassee. But I think if you're putting it all together, I think it's top 10, but it's closer to 10 than it is to 5. And I'm with Jamie. That's without just like starting to rattle through some of the games. If I did a deep dive, I think it would stay about there just because, I mean, it is it's one of those, obviously you've never done this before moments.
I think those are absolutely fair answers. And it is a hard question to answer for anybody because the story's not finished yet. And not we need to go win the tournament to continue the story. There's still 2 more games no matter what to play for this Red Raider softball team. And that can drastically change where this lands for yesterday's game. Because if you win the next 2, well, those 2 jump what happened yesterday. As good as it was, because then you're playing for the national championship in softball. That is more important than winning the first game in the Women's College World Series. This is obviously behind the Women's National Championship game. This is behind Tech Texas in 2008. This is probably behind Tech Oklahoma State in 2008 for me. This because that was just as important of a game as the Texas game was. It would be behind. It would probably be somewhere if I was pegging it someplace to the first time that Tech won their first game in the College World Series, like in that bubble. Where that bubble falls is hard to determine because of how exciting it is for your first time to be there, getting that first win. You've got to do something with it, though, and you've got to carry that forward. And I think this team is good enough to do that. Obviously, we all do. I don't think it beats. It probably beats some of the Sweet 16s that you've had. I don't know that it beats all of them. I don't think it beats some of the more heart-pounding series that I've had with the Red Raider baseball seasons. A bunch of them coming against Oklahoma State for some reason that come to mind that I would put probably above where this is for my importance. For the university importance, obviously the College World Series is more important than a super regional because of how close they are to a national championship right now. But the rivalry that you get with the Oklahoma State matchups plays a factor in those as well. I don't know where this falls in the Texas Tech versus A&M hierarchy of football games.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch that are...
Because I feel like just about...
You could fill a top 10 with just those.
Yeah, just Tech A&M football games, yeah.
But for importance to the program, it's worthy of the conversation, for sure, for not knowing where we're going to land yet. And that's why I brought this question up, because it's where this sits drastically changes what happens tomorrow. And it drastically changes what happens in the next game afterwards. If you win it all, and I'm saying if, how high does it jump up then? Because that's a national championship in a major sport on campus. And you just don't have a ton of those hanging around.
No. I think it's absolutely a possibility.
But it's fun to have this conversation because you're thinking of all the wins.
Sure.
And I like thinking about wins. Wins are fun. Mm-hmm. We've had our fair share of losses that we've had to discuss. I am. That's the word I'm looking for here. I don't want to say frustrated. That's not the word that I want to associate with this because it's not frustration. It's not worried either. The feeling would help if I could describe what this is, but the concept that I know this is the first time you're there, and the worry that goes with you being the first time you're ever at some place, that there's a moment of, hey, cool, we got here, and that's enough. And I don't think that the girls have that. But as a fan base, you take that next big step up, that's a cool feeling, and you just enjoy that feeling. You also want it to continue, but...
Yeah, I think you're crazy if you have that feeling. This team is good enough to win it all.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We were just talking about. But it's still this is the first time you've ever done any of this. This is the first time you've won a regional. This is the first time you've won a super regional. This is the first time you've ever played in the College World Series, and obviously your first win in the College World Series for the softball program. And we're all just kind of hanging on for this ride and riding with this roller coaster as long as we can go. It's fun, and it's a little dangerous because we like fun.
With big potential for big rewards, there's big heartache with it. But it's better to have loved and lost than not loved at all.
This off the ace.
Today's relationship advice with Jamie Lint, the love doctor.
If anyone says this ranks less than 10th, they're lying. Oh, I'm thinking somewhere between... I don't know that 10 and... For one win. Let's make this clear. This isn't winning the national championship. This is just last night's win. I can think of 5 Texas and A&M games that would keep it out of there for sure. I would put your first time, the 2 wins in Coral Gables when you won the regional for the first time for baseball. Because I'm more of a baseball fan.
I'm just going to tell you, I've lived a life as a Red Raider football fan where those wins and losses, made my week and also devastated me and all that. There's been other wins that, have elicited more of an emotional feeling than last night. And that's not because it's probably because I'm not a lifelong softball fan. It's just the way it is. I'm totally enjoying it now and getting into it more. I've watched some of it in the past, but now it's, there's passion involved now.
Yeah, we just got Jamie out of saying underhand baseball.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.